Yes, it's a mixed bag like any team. Players will leave football clubs all the time. They'll go on and have varying degrees of success. But with Manchester City, they're an interesting one to look at just because of the high level of player and the high level of club that Manchester City are. The first one, even though he's a goalkeeper, is probably actually the one that's got the most correlation with Calvin Phillips, in that when Pep Guardiola came in, he identified straight away that Joe Hart was not the right type of goalkeeper for him. Now, Pep signed off Calvin Phillips, but I think almost immediately he will have realised that Calvin Phillips couldn't quite do the things that he wants his midfield player to do. And that shows by the fact that Calvin Phillips has barely played. Joe Hart had a couple of loan spells and then eventually went permanently off to Burnley. But you can only say that the trajectory of his career went down, lost his England place. Pep had Bravo, I think, came in straight away for Joe Hart. And then the long-term replacements ended up being Edison, who's still there now. But yeah, Joe Hart's career, the only way was down anyway, I think, when he left Manchester City. But certainly, he's not reached the heights that he had before Pep came into Manchester City. Danilo, a player that I'm going to be honest, until this morning, I've completely forgotten that he ever played for Manchester City. But I had a look, and, he's Juventus captain at the moment. Great club in Italy. I thought he'd have gone there and won more, but actually he's only got a couple of Italian Cups, one Italian Cup and the Super Cup. Hasn't actually won the league since he went to Juventus, so he's obviously missed out on a big haul by not being at Manchester City. Iheanacho, more of a squad player, but Pep decided to let him go. He went to Leicester, stayed in the Premier League, but never really established himself as the number one striker. Jamie Vardy, still there now, of course, leading the line on most occasions for Leicester. Iheanacho, still there now, playing as a Championship player. One FA Cup since he went to Leicester, so he has got a medal in his cabinet. But again, it does seem that most players, when they leave Manchester City, the only way is down. Sané's an interesting one because he's gone to Bayern Munich. That move was on the cards for probably a year, 2 years before he made that move, big money move, back to Germany. Sané was a player who was fantastic for Manchester City. They were really exciting at one stage with Sterling on the right, Sané on the left and Aguero up front. Sané went back to Germany. A hard start, I think he had in the Bundesliga, but he's a regular in the first team. Hasn't managed to win the Champions League since he went to Bayern Munich, and Manchester City, of course, have won that trophy. So again, has missed out on medals, but I think you can probably say that he's about par. Sergio Aguero in 2021, he went to Barcelona, wanted to link up with his Argentine teammate Lionel Messi, but unfortunately Aguero had to cut short his time at Barcelona due to a heart condition. But one of the best strikers the Premier League has ever seen. Coming to the end of his career at the time when he left, we haven't included some people in these graphics, Yaya Toure, David Silva, because they were coming to the end of their career and they went on to play for smaller clubs, but they kind of knew that was the way their career was going. But fantastic players. But with Aguero, he would have had high hopes to have gone on and won stuff at Barcelona, but unfortunately his heart condition cut that short. Ferran Torres, he made the same trip, won the league. He's won La Liga last season, so has got a medal for Barcelona since he went there. Always felt like he was agitating for a move back to Spain for the whole time he was at Manchester City. But I kind of felt that it was arranged for him to go in the January, just as he's found his feet. A player that we may well see back in the Premier League at some point. Raheem Sterling as well, staying in the Premier League, has gone to Chelsea. I don't think you can call that a move, a success at the current time, but may well go on to win things for Chelsea. Of course, they're going to be in the Carabao Cup final in the next few months. And then João Cancelo, which was one of the shock January moves, actually, this time last year, fell out with Pep, ended up going to Bayern Munich on loan, and he's currently plying his trade for Barcelona on loan as well. It's difficult to say that, that move's been a success, and he'll probably move on permanently in the summer window to come. But it's difficult to really say that any player that leaves Manchester City falls upwards.